do? Dream Team, it's your boy D Neil back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with how India's leader is preparing for a 1,000-year legacy. In videos, I've heard a lot of great things about Modi. We had Palki talking about how Modi is leading India on the right path, and I believe the majority of Indians do love Modi and agree with that statement that he is leading them on the right path. So I'm very intrigued to jump into this little 23-minute biography, documentary, whatever this is, and kind of learn more about him. Before I do, make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell, give the video a thumbs up. Let's do this.
Who is Narendra Modi? Well, it depends on who you ask.
India's Prime Minister makes the impossible possible.
He is very conscious of his image in history.
He has completely seduced the Hindu belt.
Some view him as the most effective Prime Minister in the history of India.
Dang.
He's passionately worshipped by millions and hailed as one of the world's most popular leaders with approval ratings surpassing 70%.
Oh my God.
Democracy delivers and democracy empowers.
Bro, a freaking over 75% approval rating from the rest of the world is crazy. God, Joe Biden was at like 39%. Jesus. Who he got leading us? America? You feel me? But that's amazing. That's truly amazing.
On the other hand, critics see him as an autocratic Hindu nationalist who marginalizes minorities and undermines democratic norms.
The idea that India is a democracy, this is a lie.
He is a champion to the poor and friend of billionaires. He's lifted millions out of extreme poverty, even as the country's inequality continues to widen.
Oh,
So
wow.
who is Narendra Modi? Former colleagues, bureaucrats and historians give us an inside view of the man who runs one of the world's most dynamic economies to understand how exactly he got here and why he's so polarizing.
Ah, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be really good.
Narendra Damodar Das Modi was born on September 17, 1950 in the town of Vadnagar, situated in the western Indian state of Gujarat.
प्रधानमंत्री को बचपन से ही जानते हैं और बचपन से ही नरेंद्र भाई बहुत चपल चालाक विद्यार्थी थे। तो रेलवे को हम चाय बेचते, नरेंद्र भाई चाय बेचते, हम उसके साथ बेचते, मित्रता थी।
मित्रों, मैं बचपन में रेल के डिब्बे में चाय बेचता था और आज आपके सामने खड़ा हूं।
That's crazy. That's crazy. So it definitely sounds like he came from humble beginnings, right? Used to be on trains selling tea. Now the man is the leader of India. It's always crazy to hear like these stories of like, and it'd be very interesting to hear exactly how he got to the point that he's at. I always love knowing the stories, knowing behind the scenes, hearing from the friends, and everything like that. So this is really cool.
एक ज्योतिषी आया इधर, हम स्कूल में पढ़ते थे, तो बिहार के ज्योतिष को हमने रुपया दिया, 1 रुपया दिया। तो उसने हम सब 4-5 मित्र थे, उसके हस्तरेखा दी थी। हमको सुनाया वो लड़का है, वो महासन्यासी बनेगा, वो महान नेता बनेगा।
That's crazy. That's wild.
Modi experienced a typical upbringing in a small rural town marked by relative poverty and an arranged marriage during his teenage years.
Really?
Soon after marriage, he left the house, left the marriage and went away. So around 1.5 years to 2 years, he was roaming around like a vagabond. He got a unique understanding of poverty, not as an academic subject, but an actual thing. He came to Ahmedabad and eventually joined RSS, and his life changed.
The RSS stands for the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, the largest and most powerful Hindu group in the country advocating pro-Hindu causes. Modi quickly rose through the ranks. But the RSS has a dark history. The group was banned for a year after one of its members assassinated Mahatma Gandhi, a preacher of non-violence and one of the most famous figures of the 20th century.
Yeah, dang. I've heard so much about Mahatma Gandhi, but still feel like I've heard so little about Mahatma Gandhi. Like, I don't truly know everything about him, or have I ever truly did research or anything about figuring out everything that he's done. But I feel like all I've really heard about Gandhi is good things about peace and everything. So y'all tell me how y'all feel in the comment section. Is there a video about Gandhi that I should check out? If there is, drop a link in the comment section. But yeah, feel like I've heard his name so much but know so little about him.
तो संघ के अक्सर अवसर कुछ खास फंक्शंस वगैरह में नरेंद्र भाई से मिलने का होता था। बिल्कुल दिखता था एम्बिशियस। एक तो उनकी जो जीनियस क्वालिटी है, एक अच्छे ऑरेटर, अच्छा उनका कॉम्प्रिहेंशन, अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन, ये इसके कारण वो कहीं पर भी जाते तो छा जाते हैं।
Love that.
Modi's knack for storytelling and captivating audiences emerged as a talent that propelled his political rise.
जिसमें सिर्फ वोट टू इलेक्ट नहीं है, सिर्फ वोट टू डिफीट नहीं है, पर लोगों के मन में एक नई धारा शुरू हुई है, वो है वोट टू पनिश।
He is thinking the way masses think, the way Indian people would normally think.
Modi used his ability to connect with large audiences to preach the RSS philosophy of Hindutva, a hardline form of Hindu nationalism that effectively equates being Indian with being Hindu. While the RSS itself doesn't stand for elections, the Bharatiya Janata Party, or the BJP, serves as its political arm.
Among the first lot of people who were deputed by the RSS to work in the BJP, it included Narendra Modi in Gujarat. That is how Mr. Modi came into the BJP.
When he joined the BJP, Modi held administrative responsibilities, managing events, marches, and rallies. He rose to prominence by helping to organize a movement to build a Hindu temple on a site where a mosque had stood for 500 years. The RSS and the BJP claimed the site in the city of Ayodhya was the original birthplace of Hindu god Ram, and that Muslim invaders had built the mosque where a temple once stood.
Oh, wow.
The Hindus, within quotes, wanted that site back in order to build a suitable temple for Ram. And finally, in 1992, this resulted in the physical destruction of the mosque by what you can only call a mob, which was mobilized by the political powers.
The destruction of the mosque in 1992 would redefine Indian politics and set up Modi to eventually become the Chief Minister of Gujarat, one of India's wealthiest states, a decade later.
Dang. So you see Narendra Modi's coming up. Friend said he's always been ambitious, always been a very good presenter, always been a very good speaker, always known kind of how to move people, and so everywhere he went, right, he drew a crowd or he drew people's attention. And then even in this BJP, when he was chosen to be a part of the BJP, he's the one like setting up events, setting up I don't know if they said marches or setting up so many different things, and he was the one who set up, like, I guess still building this temple where I guess Muslims put a mosque, but it was really where a temple should have been, or a temple was, and they put a mosque there, and they decided to take that back and put a suitable temple in that spot. So he came up through the RSS, and then through the RSS, they saw he was ambitious. I guess they saw he was very good presenter. I assume they saw him being a great future politician, so they put him in the BJP, and he's still rising through the ranks very quickly.
One of India's wealthiest states a decade later. But just months after taking office on February 27, 2002, a deadly incident in Gujarat would scar Modi's image for decades to come. Nearly 60 men, women and children, all Hindus, were killed in a train fire.
Oh my God.
Riots broke out across the state.
That's crazy.
Hundreds of people, most
men, women, children killed in a train fire. 60. That's legit heartbreaking.
Muslims were killed.
Wow.
Modi was accused of not doing enough to stop the violence, and the US would deny him a visa. Years later, India's Supreme Court cleared Modi of any wrongdoing in the riots. The Gujarat High Court would convict 31 Muslims for burning the train.
Jesus, man.
Certainly, what happened in Gujarat in 2002, the riots or pogrom, as many people call it, did give Prime Minister Modi that image as somebody who represented that particular strident form of what we now call Hindutva.
In the wake of the riots, Modi was under pressure from the opposition and even his own party. But he called a fresh election and went on to run a defiant re-election campaign as Chief Minister of Gujarat. Hindus would rally behind Modi, leading to a landslide win.
So that is how Mr. Modi suddenly became from the leader of a government and a party which was not very sure whether they will win the elections to somebody who became the Hindu Hriday Samrat, the emperor of Hindu hearts.
The emperor of Hindu
Modi
hearts.
was poised to ascend onto the national stage. But first, he had plenty of work to do in rehabilitating the image of Gujarat and himself.
For the first time in the history of independent India, a sitting Chief Minister, Narendra Modi, has been questioned on the role of his government in mass murders in connection with the post-Godhra riots in Gujarat.
Oh my
The
God.
riots in Godhra had created a very serious situation for Gujarat. People were shying away from fresh investment because things did not look normal.
As Chief Minister of Gujarat, Modi quickly started implementing policies aimed at increasing economic productivity, hoping to turn around the fortunes of the state and his own brand.
He decided the only way the image of Gujarat can be improved at that point, if we go back to 2002, is by projecting the image of a very peaceful state. Simultaneously, Mr. Modi also realized that it is important to bring in investment.
So there was a considerable pressure on us to do something which will re-establish Gujarat as the best destination for investment. And Vibrant Gujarat was basically an investors' meeting. Mr. Modi personally talked to most of them and assured them that his government will extend all the necessary support for them to do the business quickly.
India's top businessmen, including Mukesh Ambani, Ratan Tata, and Gautam Adani, started flocking to the annual business summit.
I would like to commend Mr. Modi and the entire government for making Gujarat as vibrant, as attractive, and as conducive to investment as it is.
India's super rich got behind Modi and saw their wealth increase dramatically. They came to dominate domestic industries such as the transportation, telecommunications, and energy.
So he became both the development man who had not left his Hindu heart behind.
Modi's outreach to wealthy industrialists.
That's crazy. So like they said, like in the beginning of it, friend to the rich, but also, know what I'm saying, leader of the poor, because he experienced that growing up. He knew how the masses started. He knew how the masses felt. He understood. He understood, but he also became a friend to the rich and helped them gain more wealth. So, know what I'm saying? With Modi, it seems like India's getting the best of both worlds, a leader who cares about all. This is dope.
Left his Hindu heart behind.
Modi's outreach to wealthy industrialists spawned what became to be known as the Gujarat model, a plan to cut red tape in a bid to attract investment. At the same time, he focused on delivering tangible benefits to the poor.
He was able to greatly correct the power shortage issue in Gujarat. In the rural areas, decided to separate the grids for the domestic consumption and for the agricultural consumption. Quite a revolutionary idea that the people became very happy that we do not have any power cuts in our residences.
While Gujarat's industrial development didn't trickle down to everyone, in the 12 years he was in charge, the state's economy grew at an average of 10% each year, higher than the national growth average. And Modi rode that to power.
नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जब हमारे यहाँ मुख्यमंत्री बने तो उनके विकास का जो नारा दिया, वो विकास का नारा पूरे देश में वो एक मॉडल बन गया.
That record made Modi the BJP's best candidate to oust the opposition, which was hit hard by corruption allegations.
देश की ऐसी दुर्दशा कभी नहीं दे. नेता विहीन हो, नीति विहीन हो.
Modi promised to fix the economy, generate jobs, and lower inflation, keeping Hindu issues on the back burner.
He does want to replicate the Gujarat success story, as he puts it, at the national level. Because Gujarat has turned out to be one of India's richest states. Investors just love it.
And after that, there was no stopping him to become the leader of the BJP and ran an extraordinary campaign for the 2014 parliamentary election.
We are calling the election. Modi will be the next Prime Minister.
Dang.
On May 26,
awesome.
2014, Narendra Modi became Prime Minister, with BJP securing India's biggest election win in 30 years.
Dang.
Narendra Modi has won a landslide victory in India's election.
Modi rose to the top as the next ruler of India.
That's incredible.
After taking power in Delhi, he immediately focused on the country's development challenges.
In 2014, the country, the economy especially, was in a big mess. The inflation was almost uncontrollable. The bank's losses were mounting. And all these things had to be sorted out.
If you ask people to rank what they voted on, most of these were economic dimensions. It was infrastructure, roads, inflation, development, governance.
Infrastructure spending rose significantly under Modi, with large construction projects for highways and airports leading the charge. Fellow Gujarati Gautam Adani was central to this infrastructure push, building companies spanning ports to power plants to airports and more.
Dang.
Adani's empire is integral to India's economy, putting his ties to Modi under a spotlight. The billionaire says he aligns his business strategies with government policy and denies he has benefited from his ties to the Prime Minister.
There is more infrastructure today, more roads, more rail network, but that's a natural process of growth.
Modi also pushed through reforms, many of which were initiated during the previous administration, including a national identity card, an inflation target, and a goods and services tax that unified India as a single market for the first time.
Dang. So Modi, this sounds like Modi got to power, became prime minister, and went right to work for the people. You know what I'm saying? Got infrastructure going, got ID, first IDs going, got tax reforms going. He just absolutely got things done, is what it sounds like.
India as a single market for the first time. But in 2019, Modi would face one of his biggest domestic challenges in the form of a devastating act of terror.
Tensions escalate between India and Pakistan over a car bombing. The attack killed dozens of Indian paramilitary police in the disputed region of Kashmir.
Modi ordered the bombing of alleged terrorist camps in Pakistan. His popularity ratings soared, putting him well ahead in the race that had been much closer.
Back in 2014, it was about creating jobs. It was about fighting corruption. This time around, it was different. It was not about economics. It was about nationalistic sentiment within the country.
After Modi secured a renewed mandate, he moved quickly to fulfill some of the biggest long-standing wishes of India's Hindu right. That also spurred protest and discontent from his opponents. First, his government scrapped the autonomous status of India's only Muslim-majority state of Jammu and Kashmir. Second, he passed a citizenship law that openly discriminates against Muslim migrants.
Oh, wow.
And third, he ramped up the push to build the Ram Temple in Ayodhya. Those moves further consolidated Modi's support among Hindus, who make up about 80% of India's population.
God dang! 80%?
Yet, they marginalized minorities and those who believe in India's pluralistic roots.
He has completely seduced the Hindu belt. We are headed towards a polarized, divided society.
प्रधानमंत्री का जो शपथ है, संविधान की रक्षा का जो शपथ है, वो शपथ तो नहीं दिख रही है, क्योंकि सब जगह जिस तरीके से सारे बाकी के वर्गों को कॉर्नर किया जा रहा है, दबाया जा रहा है, उनके अधिकार छीने जा रहे हैं, उनको सेकंड
I just feel like nobody, at the end of the day, we're human. Nobody can be perfect. Know what I'm saying? So no matter who's in charge, no matter who's the leader, you can't please everybody. Now, I'm not saying that it's right to marginalize anyone. I'm not saying it's right to be discriminatory to anyone, any group. Definitely not saying that. But I'm saying that you can't, no matter what you do, there's always going to be people who don't benefit from what you're doing. There's going to be people, right, who are hurt by policies or things. And it's like you can't be perfect.
कॉर्नर किया जा रहा है, दबाया जा रहा है, उनके अधिकार छीने जा रहे हैं, उनको सेकंड क्लास सिटीजन बनाया जा रहा है.
Democracy is in peril. Economic inequalities have widened.
Wow.
Despite the number of people in extreme poverty declining during Modi's tenure, India's economic disparity is staggering. A recent study showed inequality at the highest levels since at least the 1950s.
Oh, wow.
The Modi government focused on economic growth above all else and tried to build national champions rewarding big businesses. But much of this has yet to trickle down to workers. India's opposition parties have long accused the Modi government of crony capitalism and favoring certain businesses in government contracts. That comes as India falls in press freedom rankings and democracy indices because of growing concerns over moves to silence Modi's critics. On January 22, 2024, Modi finally inaugurated the Ram Temple with blessings of the Supreme Court. A range of dignitaries and celebrities were present. Hindus celebrated across the country. But for many Indians, it marked the death knell of a secular India.
It is no longer a plural democracy. As far as minorities are concerned, especially the Muslims and the Dalits are concerned, there is overt discrimination, overt neglect.
Others hang on to hope that India can remain a secular society for its more than 1.4 billion people.
There's too much diversity in this country. Even within Hinduism, the Indian state is much bigger than the Prime Minister, than even the government of the day. So to say that secularism is dead, I wouldn't agree.
India is now the fastest growing major economy in the world, with an increasingly influential global voice.
That's incredible.
International investors are captivated by India's growth story, driven by a demographic surge, a young consumer audience, and favorable geopolitics.
I think the optimism about India is actually completely justified.
आज जब सब लोग कहने लगे हैं, India is the future.
For Modi, though, the transformation of India into a Hindu economic powerhouse isn't just a dream. It is happening now, and it is the future he is building.
आज से 1000 साल बाद भी लोग आज की इस तारीख की, आज के इस पल की चर्चा करेंगे। ये भारत का समय है और भारत अब आगे बढ़ने वाला है।
Dang. That was incredible to kind of hear about his beginnings and how he rose to the position that he's at. One question I do have, I know in the U.S., like, you can only serve 2 terms as, like, president. How is it in India? Can you serve as long as, like, you keep winning each election and continue to be voted in? Is there a certain number of elections that you can win, or can you just keep, as long as you're winning, you just keep being elected? You can keep going for as long as you're voted for. I'm very intrigued. Can anyone drop that in the comment section? Also, let me know how y'all feel about Modi. Do you believe he's leading India on the right path? Do you feel marginalized? Do you feel that he's corrupt? Do you feel that, well, what? Let me know how you guys feel in the comment section. Make sure y'all subscribe, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up. It's your boy D-Neil, out.